Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we finally get into some Xenos lore as we talk about Commorragh, the home city of the Dark Eldar. So if you guys have any requests for any other Xenos topics, please comment down below with suggestion followed by that request. Let's get into 40 Facts About Commorragh. Commorragh, the Dark City, is the massive city-state within the Eldar webway that is the primary home of the Dark Eldar race. Commorragh is no mere metropolis, for it is to the great cities of real space as a soaring mountain is to a mound of termites. Commorragh's origins date back to the apex of the lost Eldar Empire, millennia before mankind even knew of the Eldar's existence. It does not exist in real space, but in the labyrinthian dimension of the webway. The webway has been described as a complex network of glowing tunnels through the warp, a mystic tapestry of hidden threads that breach the veil between the immaterium and real space. These analogies are only crude approximations of the reality that the webway is a physical construct created to span the dimensions that underlie the material realm. Though used by the Eldar, the webway was originally forged by the ancient and immensely powerful species known as the Old Ones. They created its vast network of tunnels through the immaterium millions of Terran years ago to allow them to travel at will to the far-flung worlds across the galaxy that served as their colonies, seed planets, and research projects. The ancient Eldar discovered that it was possible to harness their advanced technology to exist within the reflective interdimensional surface and to move within the interlocking threads of the veil. The Eldar mastered the original webway network, though it was changed greatly in the long millennia since the end of the Eldar Empire, reshaped by the disaster that claimed so many Eldar souls. Commorragh was originally the greatest of the webway port cities before the fall, and was intended to be used to transport a fleet to any of the homeworlds of the Eldar Empire. Because of the access it could grant to even the most far-flung corners of the galaxy, Commorragh was held by the ancient Eldar to be the most important location within the entire webway. Because of this intrinsic strategic value, it was not controlled by any of the dominant factions within the Eldar Empire. Precisely because of its autonomy from the jurisdiction of the great Eldar councils that governed the Empire, the city-port soon became a magnet for all the inhabitants of the Eldar civilization who wished to hide from prying eyes. The realm of Commorragh expanded unstoppably as wealth flowed across its borders. It spread outward into the void, consuming other webway port cities, private estates, and sub-realms with each new expansion. Commorragh grew even larger and more impressive as it fed on their plundered resource. After the fall, the groups of pleasure cult survivors came together and laid the foundation of the vast new sub-realm that they renamed Commorragh, built on the foundation of the ancient Eldar port city. As more and more Eldar survivors from other sub-realms in the webway began to arrive, they soon added their own regions to the new realm, slowly making it even larger and more heavily populated, until it became what it is today, a vast domain, an infernal city of suffering and death. To this day, the Eldar raid and pillage the galaxy at large from their hidden sub-realms in the webway, sowing as much misery and destruction as possible, and stealing away millions of captive slaves to their lairs within the Dark City to be exploited for their own horrible ends. They are experts in the techniques of torture as well as mental and physical degradation, as the longer a Dark Eldar can drag out the torture of a slave, the more psychic nourishment he can take from him or her. It is said to be impossible for outsiders to find the Dark City, but if a traveler were to somehow breach Commorragh's runic wards, they would first bear witness to the Dark City's tributary realms, shimmering and distorting around it. One minute these vassal domains glimmer in the distance, the next they loom so close that their palaces and minarets can be seen by the naked eye. To venture alone past these satellite realms is to invite destruction. Many large and territorial cabals of Dark Eldar reside within these twisted boundaries. Deadly pirate bands of pitiless warriors who live only to inflict pain on others and will suffer no intrusion on their realms. Worse things lurk in the crooked shadows. These are the hidden domains in which the Dark Eldar enact their vile rites and devilish schemes. Over the course of its millennia-long history, Commorragh has subsumed all the vassal domains it has not destroyed. Within the glided corridors and flesh pits of the Mirad Selm realms, frolic those Eldar who engineered the fall of their own race, laughing still at the warnings of their somber craftworld cousins. The Dark City is a loose collection of far-flung Dark Eldar habitation nodes spread across the arteries of the webway like a malignant cancer. Its nodal clusters are scattered at various points across the entire galaxy, thousands of actual light-years apart. Yet these locations are linked together by shimmering interdimensional portals. As such, from the perspective within the confines of the webway, the immense distance between each of the different sub-realms of Commorragh can be crossed with but a single step, using the labyrinthian dimensional non-elucid physics to teleport seemingly instantaneously across the stars. Commorragh appears within the webway to be a composite urban center on an impossibly vast scale, a hazy contradictory realm whose dimensions can overthaw the sanity of any who approach it. Thousands of starships dock each day at its spires, for the Dark Eldar are far more numerous species than the Imperium of Man or even their own craftworld kin. Yet Commorragh plays host to more than just the Eldar race. Many diverse species of alien mercenaries, bounty hunters, and renegades all risk their souls to do business in Commorragh, hoping to claim just some of the riches to be had in the Dark City. Some of the gateways into real space are small and dim, while those above the large cities of the realm are massive and can accommodate an entire pirate fleet. At present, Commorragh is almost an infinite nest of architectural impossibilities and spatial anomalies. Each of its estates have been overdeveloped to the point that their growth has been forced into the vertical plane, the various regions sprouting upward like needle plants fighting for sunlight. Each of the Dark City spires and skyscrapers are linked by curved arches and huge buttresses. Its mile-tall palaces reach upward and downward simultaneously, spiraling into the depths of the webway curved space. Around the titanic central spire of the Dark City are the trading districts of the old Eldar Empire. The lowliest of ports was once an architectural masterpiece millennia ago, but the ravages of civil war have not been kind. Low Commorragh now consists of a mixture of shattered ruins and scavenged former glories. Numerous destroyed fortress complexes and battered ports now spread out in every direction. The Lesser Cabal riddle the extremities of an angular black spire with opportunistic growth. The labyrinthian depths of the outer zones are so congested that a traveler could travel for months on end without as much as a glimpse of the stolen sun. Many areas have been twisted beyond recognition by the tremendous upheaval of the fall, and are haunted by scavengers and specters. Within the pitch-black catacombs of Low Commorragh, there lurks far larger and uglier creatures than the Dark Eldar, for they are prowled by the lost, and the feral thrive there. One could not possibly visit all the outer districts of Low Commorragh in a single lifetime, for they are many and varied. Attempting to catalog them would prove fatal, for the Dark Eldar are highly territorial and tend to kill intruders on sight. One such outer district is Hidden Blade, a crucially placed Kabbalite stronghold that sticks out between Port Carmine and Night Sound Gulen. Port Carmine is second only in violent reputation to the Port of Lost Souls. The immensely tall spires of the transport sprout out for miles, each host a fleet of ornate spacecraft. Port Carmine Central Dock plays host to a specter of two major Kabbalite fleets at full anchor, the Slashed Eye Cabal and the bloodthirsty Stolen Conscious, locked in a never-ending struggle for dominance. Around Port Carmine lay the war-torn ruins known as the Sprawls. Their bleak streets play host to the cadaverous Dark Eldar that have fallen from grace and wound up on the fringe of their violent society. These wretches are drawn ravenously to battle whenever one breaks out, vicariously experiencing the act of extreme violence and drinking and bloody specter to rejuvenate their wasted bodies. Occasionally, they will drag an unfortunate soul who has been fatally wounded into the dark alleyway, where the parched will fight one another over the scraps of the departed soul. The sprawls eventually give way to a network of chambers through which flow the toxic acid-green waterway, known as the River of Cadus. This polluted waterway winds around and through the outer districts of central Corspur, shrouded in subterranean darkness and wreathed in mist. Above the toxic surface of the foul rivers drifts thin grav crafts. The sorry host of these crafts earn what little they can by hooking corpses from the river and selling them as slave food. These corpse fishermen often fall prey to jet bikes and sky chariots, which streak through the air above the river at dizzying velocity, slashing apart the unfortunate victims in merciless contest of speed. The Mercenary District of Commorragh is found further coreward and is more popularly known as Null City, a nation-sized shantytown permanently stricken by civil war. Every few minutes, fresh screams pierce the silence. It is said that occasionally Xenos mercenaries can be found stalking the streets of Null City. It is even rumored that from time to time the most vicious of their numbers are called upon to serve the cabals. Far above the glittering metallic peaks of Commorragh are the Imel, or Black Suns, dying stars ablaze with poisonous light that were harnessed at the height of the lost Eldar Empire. Though held in sub-realms of their own, these celestial phenomenon provide the near-endless supply of energy to the Dark City. Their twilight hues glint from the halls of gravity vehicles that swarm from spire to tower. Every now and then, a thin solar flare curls from a captive sun out into Commorragh, briefly illuminating the horrors below. Each such flare is reflected from a billion panes of crystals across the Dark City, and yet it will be barely seen by the teeming citizens, for they know that the sun's claws were blunted long ago. Though a few solar cults still exist in Commorragh, most Dark Eldar view their tamed sun with contempt. To them, they are but another resource to be mercilessly exploited. It is said that no starlight can shine upon the Dark Eldar without being harnessed, bled away, and eventually snuffed out altogether. And those were 40 facts about Commorragh. We're not done here. Commorragh is a huge place, like you kind of figured out. So part 2, we're going to go over some more areas of Commorragh, and then we're going to get into the daily life of a Dark Eldar in Commorragh. So please subscribe to the channel to get that. If you guys have any more suggestions for topic ideas that you guys would like us to cover, please comment down below. Put suggestion followed by whatever that topic may be. Again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. Because of you guys, we've seen this awesome growth within the channel, and we wanna say thank you. With that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.